Social music talk.
He's violent, and then he gets sort of manipulated into becoming a cop.
That's a very
It's
interesting
fiction,
story. It's fiction, but it almost mirrors reality.
Maybe.
I mean, the stories we hear about in the news, it does reflect it. I could see where you would be inspired to write a song about that because it's a topical subject. And how about in general when you write? Do you think about what's going on in the world, or what's your
Yes.
basis for songwriting?
Yeah, I mean, I seem to lean towards topics that, they have a bit of a social justice message or a philosophical message. And I try to tell stories as often as possible to keep it interesting. I don't seem to gravitate much towards songs that are deeply personal about relationships. That seems to be kind of a blind spot for me.
So in other words, instead of "I want to hold your hand," you're closer to writing like "Imagine."
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. I know what you mean, because in the pop world, there are already millions, if not billions, of love songs that all say pretty much the same thing, but it makes you unique automatically if you write beyond that and write beyond the relationship paradigm.
Yeah. I think that might be part of it, feeling like that material has kind of been worked a lot already.
Mm-hmm. Because in the pop world, it's funny because a lot of the pop music is from big money on down, whereas in the indie world, it's more like from the ground up. Musicians that, maybe they're not multimillionaires or connected to big management companies, so they create their own music organically, and it seems like you're more in that realm of private citizen going public, sharing your views of the world. Yeah.
I mean, I'm certainly not just looking for what's going to make people happy. Like just the other day, I was asking my daughter, so, do you listen to my songs? And she said, yeah, but they make me sad, so usually when they come up in my playlist, I skip them. And, I admit that, it's not all peachy keen,
right? It's not
lovey-dovey, everything's funny.
Or it's
real.
It's not necessarily party music, it's more thinking music, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but I mean, I've always felt like it's really cool if you can take a serious or maybe even a sad or controversial subject matter and put it to beautiful, compelling, maybe uplifting music.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's the words and there's the music. If the music is good to listen to, you enjoy listening to it, well, then you can get away with putting anything in the lyrics.
Sure,
and
sure.
If you choose to put something really real and maybe that is talking about some problem in the world or some injustice or whatever, well, great. You're getting to listen to reality and truth in a pleasant environment, in a pleasant way. That's a good thing, I think.
Sure, definitely. I think what you're saying goes along with my idea that lyrics enhance songs. In other words, they add power to music that's already powerful. Because to me, music is kind of associated with sensations, how you feel, whereas lyrics are more storytelling and direct your focus on your visual, your inner mind.
Absolutely. I think David Byrne once described lyrics as lyrics are there just as an excuse for your ear to listen to the music.
I like that definition, but I also think lyrics add to the music. Like it makes music more powerful.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
For centuries, folk music had a big, powerful element to it that unified people. And I guess you could say that about gospel as well. And those were the types of music prior to the age of recording the age of recording makes everyone think everything's about records. Everything is about how well the recording sounds. And, you take a song like Louie Louie by the Kingsmen, that only cost $50 to record that. And it was a cover, too. And yet it sold 13 million copies. Whereas today's world, it's more like you're supposed to go out and spend 200 grand on recording and be lucky if you make a grand back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it used to be about songwriting, and that was the key. And then recording turned it into more about soundscapes and upping the stakes of, almost weeding out the singer-songwriter if you don't, have the budget to make big recordings.
Yeah. I mean, I aim for my songs to really stand on their own, regardless of how much production, how many instruments, how many bandmates I have playing with me that day. Because I mean, that's not sustainable. I can't be continually putting out, really highly produced songs and have a lot of layers of sound when I play live. It's a lot of work. So, make sure the song stands on its own musically, guitar and voice, and then take it from there,
That's how Bob Dylan did it. And I think a lot of artists in the big world, big music scene got away with it through the 70s, and then kind of disco and electronic music drowned out the singer-songwriter. But you still had them, like Tracy Chapman comes to mind. And now what you're doing, I think, is completely organic, and it's a complete refreshing alternative to all that overproduced music out there.
Yeah. And another thing I'll mention is that I always write the music first, like the everything, the chords, the arrangement, the melody, all of that comes first, and then I say, okay, what's this song about? Got to come up with the lyrics, which is often, pretty. It's daunting at first. Like, oh God, I got to come up with like 3 verses, a chorus, a bridge, and I have no ideas. I start with no ideas, but then gradually it comes. But starting with the music, I think Paul Simon works that way, and I'm a big fan of him. He starts with the music.
I am too. He's
Who?
Paul Simon is one of my favorite songwriters.
Hey, I can throw my hat into that ring as well.
Yeah.
I mean, even when he did Kodachrome, which I love. I mean, that's kind of a commercial, but it's also a great song. All the little guitar licks he throws into that is awesome, and his song paints pictures, and especially Simon and Garfunkel. I love them a lot.
Yep. Absolutely. I'm a big fan of them.
Yeah. So tell us about a little of your history. I know you're from Montreal. Now, do they call it Quebec or Quebec there?
Quebec.
So tell us about starting out in Montreal and your journey to the Bay Area.
Grew up in Montreal and lived there until I graduated from high school. And then I lived in Davis, California for 1 year when I was 16, because my dad was a university professor and he got to take a sabbatical year. So he chose Davis, and that was a great experience, totally different from Montreal. And I went to high school again because goes to grade 12 in California as opposed to 11 in Quebec. And anyway, so I'd already graduated from high school, but I went through 1 more year of high school, and I made a lot of friends. And I liked it a lot here. And so I came back often. I visited, I think, like almost always twice a year, once in the summer and once at Christmas.
Okay.
And then later on, I ended up marrying one of the friends that I had made that year. And she, moved up to Montreal for a couple of years, and then I moved down to the Bay Area, and we got married, and that's how I ended up down here. I guess I can fill out more details if you want. I'll stop there, though. How's that?
We actually have the human touch queued up. How about we play that now, and after that we pick up with your story, Adrian?
Sure thing.
All right, here it is, The Human Touch from Adrian West.
Autumn leaves blazing in the sun, crispy apple, sweet and sour on my tongue. A lover's arms hold me in the dark, open promises and broken hearts. A tender feeling I could have for anyone, another dozen lives shattered with a gun. Desperate refugees drowning in the sea. How a place could be so magical, tragical, is barely understandable. So why even try? Try making heads or tails of the human race. The torn expression on its face I've seen. It's like a big machine. Be aware that you and I don't count for much, and we can share the human touch. Lucky boy, lights in his shoes. Mommy, daddy drive him anywhere he chooses. Soccer games, summer trips abroad. Got that college funding from the very start. Half a block away, the girl's without a dad. When her mama's sick, things get pretty bad. So unfortunate, but so it will remain. How a place can be so radical, mechanical, is barely understandable. So why even try? Try making heads or tails of the human race. The torn expression on its face I've seen. It's like a big machine. I've tried to gather it all, fathom it all. The buildings and the wrecking balls, the surge of youth, the pearls of truth, written on the subway walls, the falling bombs, the beautiful songs, the invitation to the prom, the glorious day giving way to a dark and everlasting calm, the way that I feel when I'm looking above at the stars. If I were you, I'd be on my guard. You never know when things are gonna fall apart. Hold on tight, watch your step. Things are looking bright, but they could darken yet. If I were you, I would plan for the worst. You never know just when the dam is gonna burst. If I were you, I'd ignore this advice. Lately I've become too cynical and critical and highly analytical. So why even try? Try making heads or tails of the human race. The torn expression on its face I've seen. It's like a big machine. Be aware that you and I don't count for much, but we can share the human touch. Oh, why even try? Try making heads or tails of the human race. The torn expression on its face I've seen. It's like a big machine. Be aware that you and I don't count for much, but we can share the human touch.
Human Touch from Adrian West. Great song.
Holy moly, that's amazing. That's even better than Safe Streets and completely different. Those songs sound nothing like each other, and they're both A-plus songs. You are super talented.
Adrian, tell us about that song, The Human Touch.
I guess there was a period where I, for some reason, started trying to understand as much as I could about, this is going to sound unrelated, but it is related, about how life began on this planet.
That's cosmic. Social music talk. Social music